You're not recording, right?
I am now. All the more reason for me not to engage with it. I don't need video evidence.
Welcome to DungeonBrew.
Welcome back to DungeonBrew as we are about to conclude our series, The Dance of Madness. And we have our investigators who, if you remember the last session, they were exploring a house, and every time they went to a new place, they would possibly take on mental illness or phobia, and they continued to increase over time and having more and more impacting them until they came to Dr. Gavin Thornburg, and they ended up killing him in a fight as more creatures were approaching them. They could not kill, but would again increase them taking on this some type of phobia or mental illness. And as they killed him, they did take his book, but they didn't have much time to do anything with the book as they were immediately whisked away. And they had another vision, or whatever you might call it, this experience where they're on this stage or platform, and in the middle is again this like emptiness or something they can't really make out, and all around them they saw before these dancing people and creatures making all these weird movements, but now the humans are gone, and they matched what the humans that Jack would have observed when he was down in the basement of the building and found those people doing the strange dances that he also was a part of briefly. As they look around, they see again the snakes and the cats fighting, and they also see the man with the cane. And they end up moving on to another location in which they arrive in this cave. The cave itself is, as they look around, they just show up in a room. There's no entrance or exit, and it's dark. The cave that they're in probably has a ceiling about 30 foot high, and they hear water maybe dripping and going in different places, but they don't see any way out except an opening straight ahead. As they move through this opening, they come to a tunnel that comes down smaller, probably about 15 feet high and about 10 feet wide, and they start moving through, looking around. The cave itself looks the walls look smooth and not rough or anything. And as they approach, they come to a first set of paths that branch off, and they start to look into these, and what they find are these piles of bodies. As they kind of look at the bodies, they find that the bodies have been something's been eating off of them, and it looks like some have been pulled to a side, and so they just find this, but they don't find any creatures eating them. As they move back into the main hallway and advance forward, they come across a body on the ground. At first, they're a little trepid because it looks like one of the Dreamwalkers with the hood over them in a robe just laying on the ground. And they roll over the body after watching and poking it for a while to make sure it's dead or it's not moving or anything. And they see this Dreamwalker or ghoul, and it's laying on the ground, and it is dead. And as they look, they see similar shapes farther down the hallway. And as they proceed, they find another set of caves. And again, they see bodies in these caves. And so, and piles. And again, as they go to look a little bit, they see the same thing, that these bodies have been eaten. Now, the ghouls' bodies have not been eaten. They are just present in the hallway, and it looks, they see wounds on them, that they've been attacked and they have been fighting, and they continue to find Dreamwalkers dead as they proceed along, yet to find an exit out of the cave. Then they come again to a very large opening, and it opens up again, and the ceiling again goes up probably 30 feet high, and the it's like a cavern, just very much open. And they see two individuals standing over there. Both of them are dressed very nicely, but one of them is very kind of straight-faced, not really giving much emotion. But the other one is giving them kind of a look with a little bit of a smirk as they approach, and he gestures for them to come closer. And as they approach, they're in front of the man in what they can tell now is a tuxedo. And this is what the man looks like that you see. As you approach, he's like, you have finally arrived. Come closer. Come closer. We have much to discuss.
Do we know
Who's the guy standing with him?
There's a guy, almost like he's a little bit behind him, like he's an assistant or something.
Okay.
He's not important enough to have a picture.
Do we know you?
We have, well, most of us have not met. I know one of your members here once, I think, visited me, asking to see one of the books, and I felt their presence when I was looking at the book. And he'll look kind of over at you, Simon. If you remember when you probably just saw the book and me standing in front of it, although you didn't see my face, I could sense that you were there.
Well, perhaps you could turn around here for me and give me a better idea of who you are. You want to take a little twirl?
Is that a command?
No, I'm not commanding you. You seem to be a ritzy right G, and I suspect that you would acquiesce.
Well, it is my duty to serve, and so if that would please you, then I would be more than happy, and he will spin around for you.
Yeah, Jack, I recognize the back of his head.
I don't know what it would be in Call of Cthulhu. Something similar to an insight. The word choice specifically there feels weird to Jack, I think.
Psychology check?
Yeah,
There
do
you
a
go.
psychology
Maybe it's a
check.
psychology check.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've done one of those.
I have
Maybe
psychoanalysis.
once in the beginning.
Success with a 26.
All right. So, you're going to find that the wording does seem a little bit bizarre, and you also feel like the way he's dressed, honestly, you kind of get this vibe that he's similar to Thoe. Like he's a butler.
So is the guy behind him the butler's butler?
That's what it sounds like.
I don't know. Make a psychology roll.
Are
He did.
you? If
He did make one.
Oh, he did? I didn't. Declan made one?
If you are powerful
sorry.
enough as a butler to get your own butler, then you are the supreme butler. I think
Yeah.
that checks,
that
right,
makes
guys?
sense.
Yeah.
That checks.
Only
That
the
does.
best butlers get their own.
That's right.
You butlers are always butling things that don't belong to you.
So, and your psychology check was on what, Declan?
I have no idea. I just got excited that you said psychology. I haven't rolled one this entire game.
Just wanted to roll it.
I put a shitload of points into it.
So you will look, and it does seem like this guy is somehow like a head butler, or he seems much more in charge. The other person seems to be trying to be as invisible as they can. You can make me a spot hidden. All of you can.
Woo!
All right, man.
Oof.
So Declan with a 51 and Jack with a 58, both a success. Simon, you had rolled a 9 for an extreme success. Theo is trying to, looking at the guy's suit and like, man, that's a really nice suit. He's really
He is
you're
completely
really impressed
distracted
with,
by that suit.
Yeah. And so you don't really notice this, but on the guy in the back, you happen to notice that his hands are behind him, but on his jacket, there's blood splatter. on him.
Well, given we just walked through an entire cave of dead bodies, I don't know how shocking that is.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, I would say that the bodies that you saw, like in the small caverns, those bodies have been dead for some time.
Sure.
The Dreamwalkers' bodies would be the ones that are fresh.
Were they killed by like knives or claws?
If you want to make like a, you could do like first aid maybe to give you some insight, or
Ooh, I have first
spot
aid.
hidden.
Oh, I've
Alright,
got first
do it.
aid too.
Do first aid.
We'll see if we can get all the unused skills you guys have not got a chance
Oh,
to use.
come
that
on.
is a
Yeah,
That
that's
was
a
a no
success
for
with a
Jack.
66.
So actually, when
First
Jack
aid,
was
Theo.
when Jack was trying to check one of the bodies that you guys came across, he kind of stumbled and his hand went into one of the wounds
Ew.
into the actual body, and he's just like,
He's dead.
yeah, Declan, you didn't get much. Theo, you would have noticed that the wounds were, some of them look like they could have been from blades, but some of them also look like they could have been caused magically.
Okay.
So he will look at you all and I know why you're here. You are wanting to take my book.
That
Unfortunately,
would be correct, and since you're so good at following directives, why don't you pass it over?
I'm not here for the book.
well, unfortunately, that's one I cannot follow. Someone higher than yourself has given me the orders to take the books from you all.
So you can follow any directive except for that one?
Well, I can still choose if it doesn't violate my master's will.
Higher than. Hang on, I have a question. Higher than him?
Oh,
Who's he
yes.
to you?
Oh, well, that's.
Or who are you? Who are you in general? But who
Ah.
y'all?
We need your.
I really.
Where are
don't
you
care
in the
about any of
rankings?
Can you please provide us an organizational tree?
You got an employee number? Like, what do you got going on here?
Well, I am the Butler Supreme. I am in charge of the Order of the Cupbearer, and I lead the butlers that are a part of it. Your companion with you, Theo, was possibly going to be a promising recruit, and still may, depending on how things turn out. But I serve the families, and I don't serve any family in particular, but the other families all have their butlers they contribute.
I
You're part of their club, Theo?
Simon, it would appear you're
not
a
at
part
the
of the
moment.
club too. But part of me feels like you knew that.
Well,
I don't know what I know.
All I have to say.
I'm
is
not
all
sure how
this-
much Simon actually knew about that part.
Well, as far as everything's concerned, think of it this way. I've done you a favor in taking out the Dreamwalkers, and so they will not be a concern for you.
Well, that is a bit of a concern for me because rumor has it that Barney's one of them Dreamwalkers, and he's who I'm here for.
No, he's Barney.
Bernard.
Wasn't it Bernard?
Bernard.
Bernard,
Barnaby?
Barney.
Barney is short for Bernard. I have both of those
I'm-
names written in my notes, both Barney and Bernard.
And he's not wrong.
Yeah. And he'll look at you. Yes, I know of Bernard, and don't worry, he is just fine. But anyways,
What about Sarah? Sarah? Do you know a Sarah? I'm looking for Sarah still.
yes, I know of her as well. You
She
don't
one of them.
realize, but many of you have had your strings being pulled from the start.
No, that's
And-
usually how the world works, ain't it?
Yes, it is. However, I've decided to.
So I'm going to interrupt you again, because that's just what I'm good at. So you're this Supreme Butler. So what do you want with the books? Who's your boss?
Still after
I
the
serve
organizational
mini
sortation.
masters.
I
I
hear you
serve
said,
mini
Gun.
masters. I'm sure you've met one of my masters, the crawling chaos, the man with the cane who's been appearing to you. Yes. Unfortunately, his plan would require my death, and I am through following that string. So, we are going to do my own plan. I will take the books from you. You can surrender them, of course, and which case, we'll be done. Or, I can take them off your bodies. Whichever you would prefer.
What is it exactly that you'll do with the books when you have them?
I will use the books to turn myself into a butler immortalis. I will be immortalized and be able to live forever using the powers of the cupbearer.
There's weird dreams.
So you just want to serve a bunch of rich folks for the rest of your life? Because
That
that's
is not-
literally what it sounds like you're trying to do here.
There's more to being a part of this than just serving rich people. If I become immortal, I can have others serve me.
So the ultimate
Okay.
butler is a butler who has other butlers.
The more butlers you have, the better butler you are.
In this
It takes
case,
a certain lifestyle to be a butler. I'm sure your companion there, Thoe, understands.
He gives him a knowing nod.
just to be clear, if you give Declan here Barney, and you give Jack here Sarah, and we give you the books, that we all just go our separate ways?
I'd be perfectly fine with that.
No, I can't give them up. You would give me the books, and I would allow you to live.
Yeah, well,
That's not the way that you bargain.
I'm a PI in Boston. It ain't much of a life anyway, so...
I'm still unclear on what orders I can give you. How about I just order you to let us live?
Go ahead and try.
All right. I order you to let us live.
He said
And
command earlier. Maybe that's the trigger word.
it doesn't matter. This time is over. It is time for you guys to meet your end. Goodbye.
But what is with
Wave
the
his
guy
hand.
next to you?
He just waves his hand, and you guys
All die.
end up in a different place.
And we're dead.
No,
Everybody
not yet,
dies.
at least yet.
This guy,
As
this
you go through,
doesn't
you
wanna
all are
bargain.
going to find that you are separated away from each other. You don't see any of your fellow investigators with you. You're just kind of on your own, and you are all of a sudden confronted with the world changing around you. And we're gonna start.
Feel an 80s montage coming on.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all like
All right.
battling shadows separately in different corners of a room.
Declan, you all of a sudden the world is coming into focus, and you are yourself a long time ago, before you grew a conscious. You are walking down an alley, and you see you see these three men standing. Now, you know them, and it's your fellow investigators, but for whatever reason, you may know them, but you don't see them as your friends. You recognize their faces, and you have decided that you want to convince them to come with you. because you've decided you want to take them to the Dreamwalkers and give them to earn money. And none of you are part of this. This is just what he is seeing at this moment. So that's what you're seeing, Declan. You're going to approach them and you're going to engage with them about trying to convince them to come with you in order for you to have them basically to make money off them. You understand that?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Next, we've got... Oh, what just rolled there? That was not supposed to happen. Oh.
That's awesome. Whose is that?
All right. Next up is Jack. Jack, you are in your mother's and father's bedroom. You're much younger, and you are just a young kid, and you are going over to check on your mom. And as you get closer, you hear this like almost growling from her. And as you approach the bed, she sits up and you can see her face, and she is a ghoul. She has transformed into a ghoul, and she is growling at you, and her hands are coming up, and she looks like she's about to jump and attack you. That is what you're seeing right now, and we'll come to your scenario here in a second. Simon, you are transported back to a very dark day in your life. The day that you attended your parents' funeral. And you are there looking at their caskets. And you're trying to contemplate what your life means now. What's going to happen to you? What's going on? Where does this leave you in the world? And you are looking at their bodies, or their caskets anyways, and you are just filled with this dread of what now? Or how does your life change and everything? So you have all of this kind of going on right now for you. And there should be Theo. Theo, you materialize. You're back at Simon's house. And you are sitting there looking around. You can't find Simon. You have tried to spell to locate him. You can't find him. You are running through the house looking for him, and you cannot find him. He's just nowhere. And you don't know what you're going to do. The worst has come over you, that why can I not locate him? Where is he? Is he in danger? All right, so we've gone through those. Now, first, we're going to start up. What's going to happen is you all are kind of experiencing this vision. And if you're successful, you start to pull yourself out, and you can potentially help your other investigators out of theirs. But if you're getting sucked in, you may just pull in and kind of go through the negative part. And so we're going to kind of see how everyone does. So we're going to go back to Declan, who is approaching the three individuals that look like the people he's been traveling with. And you're going to just interact with me like I'm one of them, and trying to convince them to come along with you.
Hey there, boyos. How you doing? Hanging out in the
good.
dark in the alleys? That's always fun.
Oh, it's kind of cold out here.
Oh, you've been out here for a while then?
Yeah. It's sometimes rough for us.
Well, if you want to, you steal away and grab a pint with me. I'm just about ready to end my shift.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Make me a persuasion.
Well, that's not what I do.
I'm gonna kind of look at you like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to go for a pint. I could probably use something warmer. And so you kind of have this conversation. You kind of have this conversation, and it's kind of they're not really budging at this point. We'll go to Jack. Jack, your mom is getting up out of the bed, and she is this monstrous creature, and looks like she's about ready to just come after you. What are you doing?
So if I'm in my parents' bedroom, am I like? I'm assuming I'm like across the bed.
Yeah, so you're so if you think about it, there's a door behind you. There's also the closet to your right. And you know that this closet connects, that you could run through there and get to actually the kitchen because there's an opening there. And so you're looking around, and you're it's their bedroom. They've got a bed in the middle. There's a dresser, and she's standing up, and she's kind of starting to, like, she's ready to attack you, come towards you. And so if that helps give you...
I'm going to basically try and dart towards the closet.
Okay.
And if it's in that direction, I don't know if it is, knock over an end table. Basically try and make some noise.
Okay. Roll me a dex. Let's see how fast you are here. It's a 42 for a success.
Okay.
And let's see how fast she is. And then make me a
42.
strength roll.
Strength is not what I do.
Hey.
That's not bad, though.
So,
37.
you get over there. You are able to knock down that end table. And with knocking over that kind of that table or whatever they have there, you just knock it over, and it slows her down enough that you get to the door, and you're able to open it, slip inside. And as you do, you just hear this pounding on the door, and like just this monstrous creature just trying to come through. And she continues to pound. All right, we're going to jump over now to Simon. Simon, you're there looking at the caskets, and your mind is going to some very kind of dark places. And what's kind of going on for you, and what might be something that would help maybe bring you out of this?
So I imagine that there's a lot of family around at the funeral with these caskets here.
Mhm.
So I imagine I'm probably going to be looking around from the caskets, like side-eyeing grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and kind of trying to read people's lips and see what people are saying about me and what's going to happen to me or where I'm going to go with this great loss.
So when you start doing this, you notice that you're getting very just cold looks from your family. And there doesn't seem to be much like love or support. And you know that your kind of wild lifestyle has often been probably not to the most of your family's delight. And so you're getting a lot of just, there's not much comfort there or support.
Mm.
So I'm going to have you make a sanity roll.
Okay.
All right. So that's a 53. So that's a success. And I feel like, almost a little sense of defiance rises up in you as you look at the family, and they kind of give you this distant, cold look of kind of what's going on. So I don't know how that looks to you, but you kind of feel like a little defiance towards them.
Okay. What do you want me to do here, Todd? You want me to throw the casket down the hill and ride it?
No, I guess I don't know if it would. Maybe you do that. Whatever happens in this vision, or maybe I know that you've kind of you've lived this lavish lifestyle, and maybe it's like, oh, if you don't like that about me, I'm just going to be even more that. Or
that was my thought. Is that essentially I'm just going to hear the words and just like throw the coffin off of the thing that it's on or something, and storm away and walk away from whatever's going on.
All right. So that's what you do.
Okay.
Theo, you are drastically looking for Simon. You can't find him in your house or in his house. Your spells are not working that you can track him. What's going on for you?
So has there been anyone else in the house as I'm searching for Simon?
Do
any other staff or anything?
Do a spot hidden for me.
No.
That's
63.
63 for a failure. You do uncover something, that the front door is open, but you can't make heads or tail if someone came out or someone came in or both. But the dread starts to fill within you. Can you make me a sanity roll, please? And that's a failure, and you're going to lose 5 sanity. And that's a 79 that you rolled and for the failure. All right.
Yeah, it seems about right.
Declan, we are back for you. If you can make me... Why don't you make a sanity roll?
It's my best roll. Hey, hard success.
Wow. Hard success. Declan, as you're talking to them, you start to hear this voice in your head saying, why am I doing this? Like, I recognize these are people I've been with that we've been helping each other. And why would I want to take anyone to these people and kidnap them? And you start to have this debate in your brain about what you're doing and if you should be doing this.
Okay. Because Declan, I was about half a step from going more forceful, and that kind of causes me to pause.
Okay.
And it's dark New York streets, cold.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna kind of like eye them for a moment as I'm trying to figure this out. Can I try and like recognize them, like try and push through and like see if I can figure out, because it's almost, the sense I get is like it's almost a deja vu thing. And so like I'm trying to wrap my head around what I'm experiencing.
Make me an intelligence roll.
Okay.
And that's success with 63. And you do recognize him, and it's like the fog lifts, and you're like, this isn't right. And as it lifts, it kind of just goes away from you. And you see these different like openings. Maybe they're doors or something, but you see these different openings, and you can hear one of them. You hear what sounds like it feels like it's Jack, but it doesn't quite sound like him, and he's like screaming and hollering. You hear another one. It sounds like Theo as he's yelling Simon's name very frantically, and you hear another one that is Simon, and he's yelling in an angry voice and like telling people to hell with you and whatever, and kind of screaming and just this. You just get this sense of anger. Which one of these would you be drawn to?
Jack, you sound like a little girl. And I start moving towards that sound.
All right, so you go in, and as you do this, you find yourself in a closet, and you see this boy trying to hold this door closed as something's banging on the door. And so we'll jump to Jack now. So Jack, you're here, and you're not
there's
freaked
a
out.
strange old man in your closet.
Right, yeah.
You're not freaked out. Like when you see Declan, a sense of hope kind of comes over you. Like you can't explain it. It's like you don't know him, but yet he fills you with hope. And you see him there, and so you guys can kind of interact.
Who are you?
I remember being younger too. Oh my God, you were an ugly kid.
And as this is going on, you're going to hear this.
Who's on the other side of the door?
That's my mom.
Probably doesn't sound like you want to open it up, huh?
I don't know.
And at this point, the door kind of pulls open
Make her
about
go away.
inch. Pulls open about an inch, and then he pulls it closed again, and kind of fighting with the door. So,
all right, I'll reach down to hold it.
Okay, so you reach down to hold it. Jack, make me a sanity roll with +1 advantage.
Sanity's not that great anymore.
Ooh, you rolled a 26,
okay.
which is a hard success. And as Declan is there helping you, it starts to kind of whisk away, and you both now find yourself back where the openings are, and you can hear Theo and Simon doing their thing.
Am
And
I a
so,
little boy now? Or
no,
am I-
you're back to being a grown man. And so, you guys again are going to hear these voices. Are you guys going to split up? Are you drawn to one? What's going on?
I really hate that butler. You know what?
Theo,
So I have no, the other one. I have like all my stuff on me, right? More importantly, I have the books on me.
Yeah, I mean they're there. If you tried to like pull a gun and tried to shoot it, it's not going to work.
But
It's
I don't
almost
have a
like
gun.
you're
That's
not.
not where I'm going with that.
But yes, the books are on you. Like the stuff's on you.
We need to figure out what the hell is going on.
I don't know. I just went towards the sound of your girlish screams, and I found you in a closet,
Yeah,
hiding from your mother. So,
at least I'm not a damn dinosaur.
that's fair enough. Point of the matter is, though, that if you follow the voice, you should find the others.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take door one.
Sure, I don't know which one that is, though.
I don't either. I'll go in this one.
Right. Okay, I'll head
So-
towards
So it's gonna head towards Simon, basically.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're going to come in. You're going to see Simon, and he is becoming very just like. He's kind of. I don't know what you're doing. You knock the caskets down. What's kind of going on for you right now as Jack is walking in on this?
Yeah, so as you said, I'm walking around yelling, "The hell with you! I don't need any of you. I can make my own way. I have my own butler."
Okay, and so you're having this defiance now. Make me at this point. I want you to make a sanity roll. Okay, you roll
Yeah,
46.
I'm like 31 years old in this scene when my parents died in their car wreck.
Okay, yeah. And
Yeah.
so you rolled a 46. That's a hard success, and you're that defiance is like kind of giving you strength in order to, kind of who cares about them. And so you're doing that, and all of a sudden you see this person. You're looking for Theo. Like, where is my butler? And you don't see him, but you happen to catch the image of Jack standing there, and you recognize him. Like, hey, I know him, and Jack is there. So I want you to make me an intelligence roll, Simon, and see if you snap out of this.
I do not.
Yeah. So you rolled a 95, which is a failure. So you don't you recognize him, but it kind of
But you can't place
goes away. Yeah, it's almost like you, but then it's like you get distracted, and Jack is just not there, and you still can't find Theo, and so you're kind of still stuck in this moment. And we're gonna move over to Theo. Theo, you saw the door was open, but you don't know what's going on. You've looked around some of the rooms, but you haven't looked at all of them. And there might be places upstairs you haven't looked, but you don't know if the door's open, if that means someone's outside. What are you doing right now?
Well, Simon is usually pretty thoughtless about closing doors, so if a door is left open, I'm assuming that's the way he went.
Okay.
So I will probably rush out the door, calling for Simon, looking around the front grounds of the property.
Okay, make
Before
me a
moving to the
sanity
back.
roll. Okay, you read a 48, which is success. And as you're coming through, you bump into this gentleman standing outside of the house, and it is Declan. And make me an intelligence roll to see if you recognize him. Oh, you do. You
Oh, thank
recognize
God.
him, and it's starting to kind of come through. And so you see Declan. What is your interaction with him?
I'll probably rush up to him rather frantic. It's like, Declan, where's Simon? I can't find Simon anywhere.
I think he's in one of these other holes. One of the doors, maybe.
Oh, I just came out the front door. It was left open, so I'm sure he came this way.
No, we're in some kind of witchcraft. I don't really understand it, but he's inside of a door. I found Jack in a closet. He went to go look for Simon, so if...
Do I know this is like a vision or whatever at this point? Like, I'm not sure how to react to that.
So, make me a sanity roll.
Can't do occult?
No. You're really puzzled by this. You're trying to figure
I have
out.
no idea what the hell
who's
he's talking
Jack.
about.
Jack is in. You found him in a what closet? Like he's in a and someone was
Simon
in a
came
hole?
outside. He's not in the closet.
What? Yeah, you're totally kind of lost here. So you're kind of stuck here for.
Simon's not in the closet. Jack was in the closet. Come on now.
All right, we're gonna come back, and now we're back with Simon. You're still looking around. I need you to make me a sanity roll.
A success with a 33. Hard
All
success.
right. You roll with that roll. You're gonna kind of come through and be like, like this isn't right. Something, Theo's not here. Why isn't Theo here? And then you're gonna see Jack again and be like, I know where we're at. We shouldn't be here. This is wrong. And so everything kind of goes away, and you two find yourself kind of back here. You kind of hear this still frantic Theo yelling for you, Simon, and then like a conversation of, he's not in the hole. What? He went out the door. What are you talking about? Who's in the closet? And you hear this Declan and Theo talking. So are you guys going to go through this door that's left?
I'm probably going to look to Jack first. What exactly is going on here, Dick?
Well, your butler wants to be friends with the butler who put us in here, and I'm not quite sure why yet. I need time to figure out these books. I need time to read this next one. Figure out what the hell's going on.
Time we have. Where is Theodore? Is that him yelling?
It's probably him yelling, yeah.
He doesn't usually know what to do with himself without direction. We should probably find him.
Yeah.
I said the closet, Jack!
So, are you both going through the door, or is just Simon?
Yeah, I'll go through it.
I'm gonna go through
You both go through, and so Theo, I need you to roll a sanity. Ooh,
He is.
I do not
distraught.
believe that's Simon in front of me, apparently.
Well, you are just in a panic, and it's almost like you've gone into a daze, and you just push past Declan, and Jack and Simon show up, and Simon is probably yelling at you, and you are just sprinting off into the outside, out into your courtyard, whatever, and yelling for Simon, and just getting more frantic and more frantic. And
sorry, when we see him, like, do we see him in this vision, or do we see him standing here in this cave? Like, what do we see?
You are in the vision. You're seeing the vision that he's seen.
Okay. So, knowing that it's a vision, would I be able to surmise the protection spell would stop this? Or give him a benefit to breaking out of it?
I mean, it could, it might help. I guess you could make an occult roll to see what you would know about that.
I'll do that.
All right. So you have a success for 24, which is a hard success. You're going to realize that it's almost like you've been disembodied, and that if you were trying to cast a spell, it really isn't going to cast because you're not really using the ingredients or doing anything to do that. It's almost like you're having this out of body experience.
Right. Like
So-
astral projection kind of deal.
Right. All of a sudden, everything kind of fades away, and for you guys that have the unknown, Simon, Declan, and Jack, you can add 10 to yours, and Theo, you will lose 10.
This seems familiar, Greg.
Yeah, I can't wait to die.
All right, things change again, and this time we're gonna start with Theo. You will be up here. Theo,
This is just great.
you are standing you're standing there, and there's these people holding you back, and they won't let go of you, and you are staring at the body of Simon, and he has been killed, and you see these people that are taking his body, and they're starting to drain some of his blood into cups, and they're actually starting to cut pieces of his skin off of his body, and they're coming over to you with a knife, and this you see it as the Butler Supreme. You recognize him, and he's holding the knife, and he is coming over, and you know that this knife is meant for you, and he is coming to stab you. And we'll come back to you. Now we'll go to Declan. Declan, it changes, and you are back in Chaplin, in Hank's Anks, and you have your gun pulled, and there is that person who was the possessed holding one of the Boston police by the neck up in the air, trying to kill them. And Jack is there and telling you to shoot him, and you are ready to, but there's that part in your brain going, no, this is a person. If I shoot him, if they become unpossessed, they'll die. They're not the one responsible. And that twist in your gut that you felt that time of whether you should you didn't know at that time, but this time you know, and it's tearing you up as you prepare of whether you should shoot or not. Jack, you see yourself back in the cave, and you are surrounded by creatures you've seen before. Some of them are the shadow creatures of some of the brutes, the big ones that could do a lot of damage if they hit you, and there's shadow beasts. But you also see zombies of the bodies that you saw that have been eaten partially and kind of torn apart, that are walking towards you and coming from different directions. You're surrounded, and you see that Simon is busy reloading his gun as a shadow beast is jumping through the air and lands on him. And you see Theo is being overwhelmed by these zombies around him trying to pull through. And Declan is looking to try to help, but he doesn't see that one of those shadow brutes is right behind him and getting ready to slam its fist down. And you're watching as all three of them look to about to be either injured or killed, and that's where you're at. Simon, you are at the edge of Chaplin, and you're right there you're able to get into a car and just leave and get out of this place. You've seen all these things, and you wanted to leave this whole time, but Theo, Jack, and Declan aren't with you. They are somewhere else, but you have an opportunity to leave. And you are just so tempted to say, the hell with this, I'm out of here. But there's a slight part of maybe you should help them, of what that means. And maybe you're torn, or maybe you're not, but there is that, you know who they are, and kind of this investigation, this adventure you've been on with them. But at the same time, are you just going to preserve yourself? And so you have this moment going on for you. So we're going to go back to Theo. And Theo, you're being held by these people, and the Butler Supreme is walking over with the knife, preparing to stab you. What are you going to do?
So, from Theo's perspective, he went running off in the last vision.
Right.
And then next thing he knew, he is now being held by these guys, and Simon is dead in front of him.
Say that yes, but it's not like you've connected that. It's like a separate thing, and your brain is in a new place.
Okay.
So it's like starting a new dream almost.
Right.
I mean, with Simon dead, I don't... Theo is probably just gonna hang his head in defeat.
Okay.
Like, if they're already chopping him into bits, his power isn't enough to help him at that point. He's failed.
Okay. So you are just going to kind of collapse in their arms. I'm taking it like there's no fight in you.
No, if he's seeing Simon dead like that.
Yeah. And so you kind of have this collapse, and this is going to take a toll on you. You're going to lose 10 sanity just by this that you're going to. But you will get to make a sanity roll after you take the 10. And you made your check with a 34. As you feel this, you start to feel like, hey, this doesn't feel right. And make me an intelligence roll. It's there, but then you rolled a 79, and then it's just like gone, and you're back there. So you started to kind of break free, but you're back there. We go on to Declan, and Declan, you're there. You have your gun pulled. You're back in Hank's Anks. You're pointing the gun at the possessed, and Jack is saying, "Shoot him! Shoot him!" And he's holding this person up by the neck, trying to kill them, and just looking at you guys with this blank stare, telling you how wonderful Chaplin is and that you should all come to live there. And you want to, but then there's that part that knows what's going to happen, and you're in this conflict. So what's kind of going on right now?
So yeah, I don't think that Declan can make himself shoot, because the last time he did this, he watched the man die afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So probably just frozen at this point and indecision.
Okay. So let's have you make a sanity roll. Okay, you failed your sanity with an 83.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to lose 2 points of sanity. This is kind of it's kind of, you're indecisive, but you can make an intelligence roll. And so you got a success with a 48. And so as you're starting to, again, you feel like something's not right here. What you're trying to, it's almost like there's a fog, but it's kind of lifting, but you still feel this torn of whether you should shoot or not.
I thought Jack was an ugly child.
All right, and I think we went then to Jack.
We're all struggling.
You're watching everyone, and so you're watching. Is there someone you want to try to save, or there are creatures closing in on you as well that you don't. You try to save someone, it may cost you your life, but if you do act, you could probably maybe only try to save one.
I'm going to try and do a mass banishment.
Okay.
It's a lot of shadow brutes and stuff like that. I'm gonna try mass banish.
Okay.
So I imagine, I don't know if there's enough blood on the ground for me to use somebody else's, but okay. Well, then I'm gonna fudge. I'll use mine.
Can he actually use his, though, if it's he's not actually in his body, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what he's doing. He thinks he's in there, so he's gonna...
You're just cutting out your own brain at this point.
Pretty much. So I get a... What's that give me? That gives me a +2 advantage, right?
How much life are you giving up?
3. Because it's a mass.
Okay.
It's a mass banishment.
Okay. All right. You cast this
extreme,
and
not that it matters, but
it's an extreme, and you see the shadow creatures dissipate, but while it does impact them, the zombies are still going, and you hear Thoe scream in pain as they are biting and killing him.
Wow.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah, so I need you to make a sanity roll. You apparently are okay with this. You succeed with the 56, and 2 out of 3.
He really
ain't
doesn't
bad.
like the butler,
Right,
does
right.
he?
Yeah. And as this is happening, you can make an intelligence roll,
I'll do that.
and it fades back into the.
I can't push that.
No, it
Okay.
just kind of fades back into the fog.
88.
And as you see Simon, he's like, "Thank you," and he gets ready to point the guns to take out the zombies that are killing Theo. You see one of those like forest creatures that were the swamp creatures that had the green stuff on them, and one of them jumps on to Simon, knocking him to the ground. And Declan is you see some of the creatures over there attacking him, and he's knocked down, and they are now in the fight of their life with these creatures. And we're gonna jump over to Simon.
Jason, you should have recognized that it's a vision at that point. Simon would never say thank you. He'd say Jiminy
That's
Jackson.
what I
true.
was thinking.
Nonsense.
About fucking
nonsense,
time.
diddly. And you would
That's
have
exactly
understood
what I
none
was
of it.
thinking. Why did he say thank you?
Yeah, that's not Simon.
This isn't real.
Simon,
Obvious
you
fake.
are sitting there. You have an opportunity to leave. They're not there. You're
So as much as I favor self-preservation, I also don't drive my own cars. So I think that I would turn around to go get them, at least because I need Simon to drive this vehicle, because
At
I'm
least
a-
Theo.
I'm a terrible passenger, let alone a good driver.
Yeah, Simon can't do anything himself. He's got to go back for Theo at least.
all
I
right.
can shoot.
Yeah, that's it though.
Roll me a d4.
That is a 2.
All right. You find Declan. You went looking and you find Declan. I don't know how you feel, if this makes you feel relieved, if you're kind of like, crap, I was hoping to find Theo so I could just leave. I don't know how you feel, but you find Declan. And are you going to convince him just to drive you out of here? What are you going to do?
No, I would tell him to get in the vehicle and continue looking for Theo.
Okay. So make me a sanity roll.
All right.
And good. You got a success of 51, and you can make me an intelligence roll. Good. You succeeded. And with that, everything starts to kind of dissipate away, and you are going to come back into, you kind of break free from this.
I'm sitting on a rock in a cave.
Yeah, you're well, it's not so much like a cave. You just see like these openings and you hear voices, and you're going to hear Jack's voice. He's probably, I don't know if you might hear him saying the spell, or you hear him sounding like he's in combat and fighting something. You hear Theo, who it's almost like you hear sobbing and just like, it's all over. There's no point. It's just,
Probably muttering apologies to Simon.
yeah.
For failing
I
him.
would move toward Theo's voice.
Okay. So you'll move towards there, and that will bring up Theo. You are slumped in the arms. You've given up, and the Butler Supreme is getting closer. And Simon, you commit. You're going to see this. You're going to see your body over on this table, that you're dead, and that people are like cutting bits and pieces off of you and draining your blood and taking stuff away. And you're going to see the Butler Supreme with a knife heading towards Theo, and Theo is just there, head slumped, muttering, sorry, Simon, I failed you, things like that. He has just given up. So I don't know what you're going to do, or
I guess, do I have a thing to, knowing that I just stepped out of something that I realized wasn't real?
you realize
Do
this isn't real as well.
Okay, so I'm not like having a reaction to it. So I think I'm going to try to get in between Theo and the other guy and be like, Theo, that isn't me. I'm good. I'm fine. Like, try to persuade him to be like, snap out of it, man. Slap him in the face.
Okay,
You want a damn paycheck? Get up.
make a dex roll.
Need you to drive my car.
A dex roll? All right.
Yep. Ooh, you rolled a 97 with a failure. So you try to get in between, but the Butler Supreme is just a little bit ahead of you. and you're not quite able to get in between him, but you are. I think you'd probably still say what you're trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're gonna have Theo. If you can make a listen roll,
All right. Nope.
that's a 90. So
Can I try and push it?
No.
Okay.
You hear Simon talking, but you just think, "Oh my gosh!" It's like I'm hearing his voice now. As I'm, it's like made it worse for you, and you're gonna lose 5 sanity.
You just love taking away my sanity, don't you?
I mean, I don't think you should complain. Declan's been playing with like around 30 sanity for
Let's
most
say
of the game.
30.
I've lost 20 in the last half hour.
I was down to 20 for a while. The first part of the game, I was at 20.
Make me a sanity roll. Success with a 39. You start to you kind of start to think, like something doesn't feel right. Make me an intelligence roll. Let's see if you can snap out of this. Oh, nice.
There you go.
You're like, no, this isn't right, and then you actually start to hear that it is Simon talking, and you see this person like almost doing like peekaboo around the Butler Supreme, trying to get your attention.
It's a very
and
Simon
you're like,
thing to do.
What the heck? And it kind of fades away, and you both end up back into the place where now you hear, you probably hear Declan, indecisive, like, should I shoot? Should I not shoot? What's going on? And then the other one, you hear Jack, which sounds like he's fighting something, and he's like, Simon, look out! And he's trying to yell and try to get help, or trying to help or something. You can't really tell what's going on, but you hear those voices. You guys going to split up, or are you both going to go into one?
Do
I
we
probably
go
see
the Butler Supreme right now? Are we still in some kind of?
You're just kind of in this like limbo area.
Are you going to say something, Josh?
I was gonna say we can split up. I can go after Declan.
All right, I'll go try and help Jack.
And what are your dreams, Theodora?
Nothing like this.
This is a
I don't
weird
like it here.
thing to pretend. Chopping
right.
me up in pieces and
Docking your pay.
We are at
Wait,
Declan.
I got paid?
Declan, you're there, and you are very indecisive. You're kind of just, again, struggling with this. Can you make a sanity roll for me? You succeed.
Yeah,
My goodness, you've made 23 with a success. You start to kind of like, okay, wait a minute. And, you start to kind of pull out of this. Make me an intelligence roll. And as you're kind of doing this, you think you see a Declan appearing.
he is Declan.
I mean, not
Simon
Declan.
appears?
Simon appearing. Yes, you see Simon appearing.
And there goes the sanity.
Yep.
And you like pull through, and you get a 2, which is a hard success. I mean,
It's
extreme success. And you are like, oh, this is totally not real. And Jack is still next to you. A part of it hasn't quite faded away, yelling at you. You almost have this slight urge to turn the gun and shoot at him, because you know it's not real.
I'm always fighting that urge.
Yeah. So, whether you feel like you just want to indulge in it for a second, or you're just going to let it fade away.
So I'll look over at Jack and say, "You shoot him." And I'll turn around and move towards Simon.
And so, all right, you both will come back, and we're going to jump over here to Jack, who is watching as Simon is on the ground being attacked by these creatures, and also Declan. And this almost hopelessness starts to come over you. So can you make a sanity roll for me? And you fail with an 87, and you're going to lose 5 sanity from this. And it's looking bad. And all of a sudden, I don't know about any. Theo, you come in, and you're you come in and you see some zombies attacking something over there. You're not really sure what that is. You see Simon on the ground being mauled by these creatures. And you see Declan also getting the same thing. Those creatures you saw from the swamp that had all the weird green stuff on them. And you see Jack just kind of like slumped in the middle. Just kind of like almost like he's on the verge of defeat. What do you do?
Probably move over to Jack and tell him that he needs to focus, or the butler's going to steal his books.
Jesus.
All right. Jack,
He is very attached to those books.
Make me an intelligence roll, and I'll give you an advantage because the books were brought up for you, and I know how. Oh my goodness!
See, that got him out.
Yeah, it was like an instant boom. I'm done,
My books.
and so you all make it. So you go back, and all of you have now made it out of the place. So you can all give yourself plus 10 on that score. And you each can now make a roll on your unknown.
Woo,
all right.
Declan.
Jack with a 94 and Theo with an 89. You guys start to have another dream sequence. And you all are moving on. So let's see what you guys are starting to see here. Come over here, Theo. So this one is a little bit different. I know it says Simon is dying, but actually, you now are standing over him with the knife in your hand, and you are going to be the one that sacrifices. Simon's alive, yelling at you not to kill him, but you have this intense desire that you've been promised this power that you have craved. You've wanted this knowledge about the occult, and they're offering to open up the doors and let you have as much as you want. All you have to do is be the one that puts the dagger through Simon's heart. And so you are with the dagger raised and you're holding it. Jack, you are watching almost like you can't really interact, but you're watching your father. And he is creeping into a cave that, kind of looks similar to this, but he's creeping in and he's, kind of looking around. And then out of nowhere, something just comes and jumps on him, and you can tell it's a ghoul, and he's fighting with this ghoul. And no matter, I don't know how you feel about it, because you did have some animosity to your dad. Things have been kind of probably confusing for you about your father because all of this stuff that's kind of gone on, but you're watching as your father is fighting for his life. So we'll come back to you guys. Declan and Simon, you start to open your eyes and you're back in the cave, and the man that was behind, that was splattered with blood, is appearing to cast this spell that puts you in this state and trying to do whatever he's trying to do. And you're getting control back. That you can actually make an action if you want to try to kill this man or whatever you're going to do.
Simon, I feel like the answer might be bullets.
It's the only answer I know, Declan.
All right. You can shoot away. I love it how it's not even that you try. You just go, Simon. I don't care that he can hear us. You just blow him away.
That is 3 successes, filling this guy full of holes with a 6,
I don't like the
a
witches.
4, and a 1.
All right, you shoot him, and you are able to kill him.
Yeah, I didn't even need to pull out my gun.
He falls down dead, and you will see this look of horror kind of on the Butler Supreme's face. You will also start to hear Theo and Jack kind of come to as you guys are leaving what you were seeing, and you're now coming to back to the cave, and you're kind of, as your eyes are open, you're watching the guy gurgling and falling backwards.
I'm going to just shift my gun over to the Butler Supreme and be like, when a cop tells you to shoot a man, it's not a sin.
He will have this look of frustration on his face, and it almost like he doesn't know what to do at this point.
I would like to shoot him in his hesitation.
Where's his
You
hesitation?
can pull your gun
located?
out if you'd like.
Yeah, Theo would definitely pull his gun out because he doesn't like the idea of being forced to kill Simon. He's very upset about that last vision that he come out of.
I got my gun on him, 3 more bullets, hand up, ready for the sign from the cop behind me.
Like, as soon as I see that guy, I'm pulling.
Okay, you can shoot at him.
It's like 2 hits with a 57, 87, 13.
Yep.
I feel like at this point,
For
Wow.
23 damage.
Declan's getting a little bit frustrated because he keeps running into people who go, I know who Bernard is. I know exactly where he's at. And everyone keeps murdering them.
So you shoot at him, and you just hear the bullets hit behind. It doesn't even seem to infect him. He is not harmed by the bullets. And at that, you will see him smile and like, thank you. You've made the rule that now I can kill you all. Since these books and all this magic has rules, and I was not able to just directly kill you. That's why we had to have you die in the little dream realm. But since you attack me, that allows me now to be able to kill you all.
Supreme Butler,
I don't have
only
no
one-
books.
Only one person has attacked you amongst the 4 of us.
Yeah, I'm the only one that shot you. These guys are fine.
This is true. Feel like
There is a code of conduct among butlers, you know. This is between you and me.
Look, I don't make the rules. I just learn how to follow them. And as he gets ready to,
Do you have a rule
raise
book
his hands.
that we could peruse in order to learn these ourselves?
As he raises his hands to cast, he's going to ignore your comment. You see all of a sudden the front of his chest just kind of explode as this hand reaches through and just is gripping his heart.
Oh, we should shoot
And-
that.
Theo,
And
when
then-
did you learn how to do that one?
Special bullet trick?
And then the hand pulls back through the chest, and the butler collapses onto the ground. And you see the man with the cane now standing behind him, holding the heart. And he just crushes it in his hand and drops it.
I didn't shoot that guy that was standing behind the butler, did I?
You have no idea if he was back there when you shot.
I'm guessing that rule book is really more of guidelines.
This
He'll
guy
look
with the
at
cane,
you.
have we seen him before?
Yeah, it's the guy you've seen before with the cane.
It's the
In the
crawling
visions,
chaos,
right?
I think,
Right.
Oh,
He's the chaos.
Okay.
Yeah. He will let go of his cane. The cane will just stay standing, and in his hand, he'll just kind of do like one of those little flicks with his hands, and a handkerchief appears. And he just
I
starts
think I
to
saw
wipe.
that on a street corner once. Especially the
to-
cane trick. Something to do with magnets, if I remember right.
Wipes off his hand, and he chucks the rag away and goes back to holding his cane. Thank you, gentlemen. You have done very well. This butler thought he could cut his string that I controlled him. And, well, he learned that he could not.
And why
And-
didn't you do that a few weeks ago?
We all serve various masters, and I have my own master that I serve. I am limited in what I can do, but he'll kind of kick the body a little bit, and the book kind of fumbles out, and he kicks over the other book towards you all. Wait, let me do this real quick, because we got to figure out. And the book will be kicked towards... Actually, it's going to go towards Simon. I don't know if Jack is like sprinting or diving or tackling people to get to this, but
Diving.
Underlay.
I'm not gonna dive for it.
So the book will be there, and this is what the book will look. It'll have a green cover.
I will pick it up.
How intact is the Butler Supreme suit after that ordeal?
Well, it has probably a giant hole in the back of it.
I mean, I can mend the suit. That's okay.
All right, that's
Theo's just over there going, that's a nice ass suit.
He's been doing that the whole time.
And if you needed to be reminded of what the man with the cane looks like,
That looks like a nice suit too.
Does he just always have that windblown look? Like,
yes,
He's got hero wind wherever he goes.
yeah, wherever he goes, it's just his hair is always blowing back behind
Yes.
him.
And here is the final book, is the Book of the Scales. So you now have all 4 books. And he'll look at you all. How about we retire someplace more comfortable?
Is Bernard there?
And he's just going to kind of wave his hand. And you guys are going to be no longer in the cave. You're going to be in what looks kind of like a study of some sort. There'll be books on the wall. There's a fireplace. There'll be chairs for you to sit in. Even some alcohol on the table. You probably even see some places where you can get cigarettes. And he will go, this is much better. Please, make yourself comfortable. We have business to discuss.
Theo's immediately going to move to get Simon a drink and a smoke.
I appreciate that. I'm going to go sit down on the couch with the book that I picked up.
Okay.
So this seems to be a fine place to relax after rubbing out a rube.
I don't know what's that mean.
We all know what it means. None of us saw it,
Don't ask.
but we all know what it means.
Talking about my weird dreams.
It's killing a mark or killing a bumpkin.
I'm glad I didn't end up in one of his dreams, that's for sure.
Right.
He will let you guys get comfortable. You start looking at the book. Simon, when you pop open the book, you're going to see a lot of images that, again, don't make sense to you. You will see those similar symbols of the cat and the snake in there. I mean, you haven't seen the other books, so you didn't know they were in there, but you did see those, I believe, in your vision when you were trying to look. So you have seen it from there. And so you're looking through there, and he will just... Well, today is a special day. It can be a day of ascension. And you all get to make the choices. But there's more that you all need to know. You see, you've all encountered and heard about these families with power. You've heard of the Canstons, and it might surprise you to hear that the Peters are part of that. The families from across here that have wealth and power, they have made a deal with the one in all and the all in one. And when they complete this deal, when they need more, they must give a sacrifice. And so each family will prepare one of their members to be a sacrifice so that they may be given, so that they may take the power and the knowledge and whatever gifts that the all-in-one and the one-in-all will give them. Interesting enough, Simon, I'm curious if it would surprise you now that you were your family's sacrifice. On the day that you were born, you were chosen to be their sacrifice when the time came. And they have all known, even your parents, that you were going to be the one that they gave to him in order to gain his blessing.
And who will be receiving such a blessing with my parents gone?
Oh, it would go to your grandparents and the other members of your family. They would get knowledge and information that would increase their wealth and anything else that would give them more power and continue their family name. That's what your family has been doing, and other families for a long time, to stay in power.
I'll probably side-eye Theodore with that, but kind of sit back into the seat, scowling at this information, letting it resonate for a moment.
He'll see your side eye. Very astute of you to wonder who else knew about it in your life. Could your butler have known this whole time, and that's why he served you so dutifully? Because in the end, he may have been given a promise of power that would grow for him and give him new abilities and the things. Think of how much you never knew about your butler, and now you're finding out.
Is that true, Theodore?
Oh, we'll get back to him. Jack! Oh, Jack. Your story sends shivers down my spine. I'm not even sure what you are. Your mother is a Canston, and she, too, was to be a sacrifice for them, but for another purpose. You see, the families work with the Dreamwalkers. They form these agreements and they help each other in order to fulfill the wishes of who they want to call their mistress. But they often need someone to send to become a ghoul. Your mother was in the process of becoming this ghoul, and then she fell in love with the professor. And she wanted to be with him, and so she left the family behind, but she didn't finish the transformation. Then she gave birth to you, and because she never completed the transformation, she grew sick, and she suffered for how long? And do you know who wouldn't help her? The Canstons. They demanded that she give you up, that you never see you or any of you again, and your mother refused. And instead of helping her, curing her, or turning her into a ghoul, they just left her so that she could suffer and die. And now what about you? Will your mom's curse follow you? Will there become a day when you start to grow ill? Will you, too, suffer the same fate as your mother? Declan, you're just as sour and cantankerous as ever. What will you do with Bernard? Do you know what he's planning to do? Mr. Reynolds has only a short time to live, and Bernard is planning to travel there and to reveal himself to his father. And he'll tell his father that he needs to write everything over to him in the will so that he can take ownership of everything, or he will kill you. And then, once he has everything, he will start giving it to the Dreamwalkers so that they have another new family. And then he will come and he will make you suffer and he will kill you. Oh, Bernard, because he never had any intention of keeping you alive. But Theo, I don't want to forget about you. A life of secrets and control. You have always wanted to learn more, and how much of the stuff that you did for Simon, collecting his hair so that you could constantly find him, always trying to be in control and to keep him safe. One must wonder, if you knew deep down what was coming, if maybe you knew that Simon was supposed to be a sacrifice, maybe not consciously, but maybe there was a part of you as you were learning some of your occult spells and learning from some of the other butlers, maybe you realized it was coming. You know, when the time came, they would have asked you to kill Simon and offered you great power. And if you agreed, and you would have done it, then they would have killed you along with him. Do you know why they would want Simon dead? Because his body forms a vessel, and after the sacrifice, they can fill it with power. Families decided that they could use the power that the books was holding back. And they would use, by destroying the books, they would force that power into Simon, and then they would perform an ascension in which they would take and eat of Simon and drink his blood, and that power would go into them, and they would all share a power that was controlled behind the books. That was their plan, to break free from the all-in-one and the one-in-all. They would no longer have to make sacrifices. They would no longer do anything. They would have that tremendous power behind those books. So, I've given you a lot. You have questions.
What do you get from all this? What do you want? Why do you give a damn?
My desires are my own. I'm not going to say that I'm for the altruistic, that I'm trying to help anyone other than myself. I'm not going to lie or tell you anything like that. I love to see the chaos and the turmoil it causes. I'm the one that revealed to the families that if they could destroy the books and put the power in there, that they could then take that power. And then when they started to alter their deal and change things, then I knew that I would eventually have to kill the butler. But I don't play the short game, I play the long game. I have been preparing you all to be here so that you could fulfill in case I needed you.
All
Jack.
the more reason not to believe a damn word you're saying about anything.
Well, if I hadn't wrote a letter claiming to be Bernard and sent it to his father, you never would have left for your trip, and you would most likely be dead. Or if I had not given you a clue, Jack, to go look in Chaplin, to go find the girl, because you were hopelessly lost and not sure where to go. But a note slid under your door. Simon, you received a dream, and you saw those symbols of the books. And I served as your muse, helping prepare you. And Theo, your supplies ran out early. Yes, I had the hand in there. That was the nudge I needed to get you all to move where I needed you to.
So because you manipulated us, we should believe what you're saying about everything else. You understand that doesn't really track, right?
Whether you believe me or not, things are in motion, and you must make choices now.
What will happen to my family, the legacy of my family, if they don't have a vessel?
Well, their power will wane. They will not have the success, and their empire will collapse. What if we go through some options that you have now? First, I offer you 3 choices. Because I serve another and I must obey the will forced upon me, you have the option of claiming each of the books, and you each become a guardian. You will take the power that comes with the book, but you will also take the corruption. And in time, you will be just like the other guardians that you faced, doing the things that they did, and whether you were gasped by it or thrilled by its power, you can claim that. And you'll continue the cycle on. Or, I offer you another choice. This choice is that you can leave. And he'll snap his fingers. And you were in this study, and you didn't really recognize it, but with the snap of the fingers, Simon and Theo, you were going to recognize that this is Simon's grandparents' house. The families have gathered for what they're hoping to be an ascension, that the Butler Supreme is going to bring them Simon's body so that they can prepare him for the sacrifice. But
In what state?
You're in Virginia.
No. I mean, in what state does my body need to be?
Oh.
I know where I live.
That was great.
That's why he was
Oh,
confused.
Jesus.
Virginia, like
Like in a coma, like dead. Like what state do I have to be in?
I mean, you can be dead, because if they need to, they can resurrect you. So, yes, they can have you dead, they can have you alive. They'll just cast resurrection on you if you're dead, bring you back, and then sacrifice you. But you can walk out those doors. And if you want, Jack, you can look for Sarah. She's here. She's part of the sacrifice for the spell. They'll consume other people's life in order to cast it, because that's what they need to break the bounding to the book and destroy them. So you can find her, release her. If you want, you can go on a killing rampage and kill all the Canstons. Simon, Theodore, your enemies are all here as well. You can go and, Simon, you can wipe out your entire family if you'd like and be the sole inheritor to the entire Peter's fortune. And never have to look over your shoulder again. And Declan Bernard is here, and you can go and deal with him so that he does not ever meet his father and make his threats and force him to do what he wants, and to give that fortune over to the Dreamwalkers. Or you can simply walk out and do whatever you want. You can take action or not, but you can walk out the door. Or I give you a third option. You destroy the books. You end the cycle of a guardian and the corruption and the evil that comes about of trying to contain this power. And in the destruction of the books, you each will receive power beyond your dreams. You can be immortal if you want. You can do what you want. You could cure Mr. Rentals. You could take care of your family, Simon, and have the power to do what you want, party for the rest of your life, whatever you would like to do, you will have that power. And Jack, you'll be able to cure yourself from the fate of whatever your mother faced. And you can take the girl and she will be home. And you might even have some riches, because I don't know how family law works, but you might technically be the only heir left of the Canstons. Theo, you'll have knowledge and power beyond your dreams, and you won't have to kill Simon. Now, is there a price? Yes. You don't actually have to really kill anyone other than destroy the books with the spell that Simon has on him. We gather the books, you read the spell. I have marked the Simons and the Canstons, the Butlers, any of the Dreamwalkers here, Bernard, all of them. I've marked them, and when you cast the spell, their life will be sacrificed to give the energy to destroy the books. You will release the power behind the books, and the books, when they're destroyed, the power they had in them will fill all of you.
What about the corruption?
The corruption comes from the power that's behind the books, that is sealed away. It will not be a part of it. It will not fill you like it did for the books.
But what's going to happen to it, Mr. Chaos? It doesn't just disappear.
It doesn't. It's part of choices.
What do you get out of option 3?
What does he get out of any of the options? But yes,
He's
three.
getting that corruption in option 3. That's giving
The
him
power
power.
does not belong to me.
No, it belongs to his boss.
I wish.
Who is your boss?
As you're speaking, Jack, I had passed you over the book quietly. I'm also going to pass you over my
Muse book?
playwright,
Hmm.
yeah, that I was working on that has the spell in the back of it.
As I said, I enjoy chaos. I enjoy what comes from all of this, but I am just a servant. I must serve the will of my father. I cannot break it. But I have times that I can introduce chaos to spite him. And this is my way of spiting my father. I have daddy issues.
So you're a kid throwing a tantrum?
If you want to consider someone that is far older than you,
I'm talking
immeasurably.
mentality, not age, bud.
you live as long as I have and see what mentality you have.
I hope it's not a childish one.
Well, lads, I could give a feck about the books. I don't want power. I don't want it from this devil that's talking to us now. I'm content to walk off and go find Bernard, if it's all the same to the rest of you.
And you know what? You don't have to be unanimous. If you'd like to leave, you're more than welcome to leave. If you want to bind yourself to one of the books, you're more than welcome to.
I don't want
Or-
your power or your books or any of this nonsense. I never wanted it, never wanted anything to do with it. I came here looking for a man's son. If the boy's corrupted and he's evil, then I'll deal with that. But I'm gonna do it on my own terms. I'm not gonna do it with your books, and I'm not gonna do it with your offers.
At the door, you'll just go out in the hallway, up the stairs, and the second door to your right is Bernard's room. That's where he's at. I wouldn't explore too much more unless you want to get in fights with a lot of other people. Remember, the families have all gathered and they're in the ballroom.
Right. Simon, Theo, Jack, anything else you're wanting from me?
It's been a pleasure, Declan. And I'll raise the glass up that Theodore had given me towards you.
Best of luck.
If you need me here, I'll stay. You've stood by me this far. But if not, I've got business.
Take care of yourself.
I
Watch your
don't
back.
think we're gonna shoot this guy.
Alright.
I can't shoot this guy anyway.
You don't have a gun. It's walking out the door with Declan.
No, well, that's a good point. Declan will give you back your gun before I turn around and walk out.
I feel like we should make Jack do a luck that doesn't accidentally shoot himself.
Yeah. Is it loaded?
Shoots himself in the foot.
All right,
How do I
so
tell
it
if
sounds
this
like
thing
Declan's
works?
leaving.
Yeah, Declan will go find Bernard.
All right.
All right.
Are you going to take his advice?
To kill him?
No, like
No,
to find
the
him.
Oh, the path to find him?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You'll open the doors.
He'll
You'll just
start
see,
there,
like,
but Declan does not trust a word that this guy fucking says.
That's
So
fair.
everything is like double check, triple check before he turns any corner or does anything.
Yeah, you'll go out the doors, and there'll be some bigger doors on the other side of the hall. You hear like a lot of noise. It sounds like there's quite a party or something going on over there. And then you'll see the staircase that leads up. And if you walk up it and you go down the hall, the second door on the right, you'll find Bernard in there.
Okay.
While this has been going on, Jack is going through books, and he's not like being subtle about it because this guy can obviously see him. He's in the same room, but he's going through anything in book 3 and 4 to confirm anything that may give them an advantage out of the books, anything that he recalls from book 1 and 2, that may be referenced in book 3 and 4, and how you can utilize that to the group's benefit specifically, or even if it's just verification of what this guy's actually saying.
So, as you look at the books, again, you can't actually understand the words in any of them. You haven't understood up to this point in the other ones, but you keep coming across these symbols, again, of that cat and the snake. And so you'll see these symbols in this book again.
What's with the cat and the snake? Who's that?
Yes. They are two ancient enemies that hate each other, and they engage in an internal struggle, fighting each other over and over again. One of the symbols for one of them is the snake, and the other is the cat. This book is all about the conflict between them that has gone on for time immemorial.
Okay, but who is it? Who are they?
They are the chewer of corpses and the devourer.
Is there another one called the Hunger?
And they both have many names, but none of them mean anything to you. Just as my name means nothing to you. You all are beyond, or they are all beyond your comprehension.
Sure, right now, but what if we zap up these books? Then we can comprehend it, right?
You might have a better understanding, yes. You might even get, as the ascension is occurring, you might even get a front row seat to their fight, that you can watch them duke it out.
Do I get the sense at all this guy's like telling us even a hint of truth? Well, let me rephrase that. I know there's a hint of truth in it. Can I suss out maybe what he's hiding?
I guess make a psychology roll. You know, you got a success
37.
for 37. The guy is very charming. He's very slick. You can tell that he's choosing his words carefully, but at the same time, he feels like he's being actually very open and giving you information. I mean, he's giving you 3 options. One of them is simply to walk out if you'd like.
Right.
You know this, you get a sense that he'd prefer you to pick the third one. He doesn't seem to like the first one. But he seems indifferent about the second one.
So as Jack is kind of mulling this over, Simon, who's been pretty quiet with his own thoughts, will speak up. Gonna interrupt as Josh. Content warning for viewers.
Oh, God.
As Simon jumps in here. After all this series, here's the content disclaimer warning. This could be triggering. Simon will sit there with his thoughts. He'll be like, I thought I wanted power, and I don't. And I thought I enjoyed debauchery, but not this much. And when it comes down to it, I really just don't like being told what to do. And you're giving me 3 options. I will tell you this, I don't choose any of your options. Some plays are best lived on the stage of life as we've just lived, and not pinned on paper. Theodore, whatever you choose to do not let them have my body. And with that, he'll raise his gun to his head, and in Simon fashion, will not miss his shot.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
So the gunshot will ring out, and the man in the cane will just turn to the rest of you and be like, well, now there's 2.
I'm not sure what Jack would do in that state.
It's Virginia.
No, okay,
Um,
Jack held it together a little bit. Jack would at that point get up and get a drink because he hasn't yet.
FYI, I rolled
and-
sanity off. I rolled sanity off screen and rolled a 99, which is why I chose to go that route.
Okay.
Just FYI.
Okay. Thank you. And Jack, as you go to get yourself a drink, he'll be like, open the cupboard. On the top shelf in there is the good stuff.
I'll open it.
Yeah, you'll see it looks like a very expensive bottle of something.
He'll
He'll
just
look at
take
you, Theo.
2
Theo,
hardcores of it.
is this disturbing for you?
Theo is just kind of
Frozen?
in shock for a bit.
Yeah, he looks frozen in shock right now.
He looks
honestly.
frozen, yeah, completely.
Oh, God damn it. Yeah, he is absolutely frozen by this situation.
Would you mind if I make it maybe less problematic?
Don't you touch him.
Oh, I don't have to touch him.
Don't do any magic to him. You leave him alone.
That's fine.
You vision me, Todd. Don't vision me. Don't bring me back just to kill me again.
No, that's
Yeah,
not
like
reasonable.
at him like saying he's gonna mess with Simon, Theo will pull a gun and point it towards him. Tell him not to do anything to him.
He'll back down. I just merely wanted to clean up the blood or make him more presentable so that when you needed to bury him or whatever you will do with him, I will remind you that you do have a scroll of resurrection. And with that power of yours, you can bring him back.
I have a scroll of resurrection.
Well, you guys have a scroll of resurrection.
Yeah.
Do?
You may not. And he'll look over.
Thanks to my
Sorry,
dad.
he'll look
To
over
my
to
dad.
Jack and point at
Oh,
him.
that's what that was. Okay.
Yeah, because of my dad. Without turning around. Still just like drinking whatever this lovely bottle of brown liquor is. Well, Theo, okay, I respect Simon's wishes, but given that his family seems to have ways to bring folks back, he just put us in a predicament.
If we
If you
destroy the
intend-
books,
If you intend on honoring his wishes.
I don't want them to have his body.
Then you know the only way to fix that, right?
Burn it to ash.
I'm pretty sure the resurrection spell can fix that.
Make me an occult roll.
I am
Both of us, or
Both of you can.
pretty sure.
like, I thought after
I'm
a certain
pretty sure.
point of death, it doesn't matter.
No. So how a resurrection spell works is that if you have the body that's intact, or even most of the remains, you can still bring that person back, even if they're heavily decayed. They can still be brought back. However, if they don't have most of the remains, though, if you were to like burn it to ash and spread out the ashes, it would be that they would not be able to resurrect.
What if I were to convert the body to a different material?
If you converted it to the essential salts,
'Cause,
You
yeah, I
could
could
spread
use
that
my
out.
acid to
you could,
dissolve the body.
and then you would just have to spread out, because essentially if they have the salts, they can use that to bring him back still. But if they don't have all of it,
So
It can't.
what I can do is use the acid, make him salts, right? Then use those salts to cast the cleanse spell to clean the blood from him shooting himself.
there you go. Use the remains.
Get rid of
your
everything.
master. I mean, that's what you can do.
Yeah, I think Theo will probably go about that process
Okay.
following
So-
Simon's last wish.
You will go through, and again, the man with the cane will just sit there patiently with you, and you will pour it on there, and it'll convert
Like
him into
Theo's
the salts.
probably silently crying as he's doing this, because Simon's been like his best friend for 30 plus years.
As you're doing this and you're watching the body dissolve, you'll feel a tap on your arm, and it'll be the man with the cane, and he'll would you like a bag to put the salt in?
No, I'll shake my head and use the salt to clean up the blood.
Okay. You won't use all of it, but I mean, you'll use some of it, so it wouldn't be enough. I mean, it would be that you used enough that they couldn't just resurrect him from the salts.
I'll just throw the rest out the window. I don't know.
Yeah, you can. Throw it over your shoulder. I don't know.
He's mixing with the family grounds.
Now, what would you gentlemen like to do?
With an anger in his eye, Theo will turn to Jack and say, "Let's destroy the books."
Okay. Place the books on the table.
So I got a question first.
Sure.
I need to know who your boss is.
My boss is my father.
We gathered that. Who's your dad?
Who is your
that a
daddy?
name?
And
Who's your
what
daddy?
does he do?
Do you know your father's name?
Do you know my father's name?
No, that's why they're asking.
Is it Virginia?
My father is the Lord of all things, the Haunter of the Dark.
Is it the all-in-one and the one-in-all?
No, that's my uncle. To be honest, they're both dicks.
Seems like you're screwing both of them over with this whole thing.
Who created the books? Put this power in them.
They were created long ago by Thoth.
Do I know who Thoth is?
I remember, if I remember right, I think you guys did make a roll that you knew that Thoth was the Egyptian god of knowledge.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And each of the symbols on the book were a symbol of Thoth. There was a symbol of the moon, the ibis, scales, and then the baboon. As you guys are contemplating, let me begin to make things ready for you to cast the spell. And he'll wave his hands, and the body of the Butler Supreme will appear upon the table.
Oh, there's your suit, Theo.
I don't think I've got time to swap suits.
Would you like a new suit?
He'll look down at his and, yeah, I mean, mine's a little dirty.
And with a wave of his hand, your suit changes, and you're in an immaculate suit.
Oh, shit, yeah. Look at it. Oh, nice.
And the sooner you're done, you can all go along your way. Jack, you can return victorious with Sarah, and with new power, and Theo with new power, and you can see this family that you've never ever really mentioned except for one time. Well, you have what you need to cast the spell. The books are on the table. The body here.
Well, Theo, I can't say it was great knowing you, because this whole thing's been a clusterfuck.
Agreed. This was the worst adventure of my life.
But,
It was nice meeting you.
yeah, likewise. Sorry about Simon.
Thank you. Sorry about your mom.
Thanks. And, I guess we'll start that process.
Okay.
Whatever it
You'll-
entails.
You'll cast a spell, you'll read through it, and you'll feel this energy start to flow. It starts to swirl around, and the books begin to glow, and they just get brighter and brighter until they just kind of disintegrate. And as this happens, there's like this dust from the books as they disintegrate that whirls around, and this bright light shoots up from each or all four of the books, and it just kind of arcs over and goes into the Butler Supreme. And the whirling particles from the book, they swarm towards you both. You both are hit by two of them, and you begin to feel this power surge through you, and you watch as the body of the Butler Supreme begins to glow and it begins to surge. But when this happens, you see that the body just disintegrates and is gone, and there's a big blast of power. And as the light then goes away, the blast has gone away. There's no longer a body there. The books are gone. You guys, at first, you don't know that you feel anything different. And, but then there is something different. There's something... You don't see the world the same way anymore. And you feel this just energy within you. And the man with the cane will look at you. Our business is concluded. Thank you, gentlemen. You have done what I have long desired. And now, you may go find Sarah. You will find that your enemies in this house are dead. And you can return to your life however you want to live it.
What kind of power do we have exactly? Like, is it like violent power?
It's really for you to discover. At that, though, things will fade to dark, and you will find yourself again on the stage where the creatures used to be, the creatures were dancing, and you'll see them dancing, but you'll see the snakes and the cats fighting. And as you're watching this, you see that you start to see this surge of energy fill the snakes, and they become larger and faster, and you see cats starting to just fall down, and the snakes are moving closer to the stage.
Towards us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then you see an image of a woman appear on the stage, and as you look, you see that her head has a cat head, and she has appeared with what appear to be weapons, and she is there, and she raises her arm, and the power surges in the cats, and they grow larger to meet, and they start to hold off the snakes from advancing. And then again, the cats push back the snakes a little bit more. But then another surge comes, and you see a man's body appear with the head of a snake. And he summons a great power, and the snakes go crazy, and they push the cats almost to the stage. They're there fighting, and the man is coming forward, and the woman is moving towards them, about to meet in combat. And when you see them meet in combat, they are engaging and fighting. And then you see the man make a blow to the woman, and she falls to the ground. And the cats disappear. And the man stands over the woman, and he kills her. And at that, you see him walk towards the stage. He steps up on the stage, and he goes to the blackness. And then everything is over. You just fade. There's nothing in existence. You have awoken, and you release the power of Apophis. And he was able to make it to Azathoth and wake him. And when he woke, the reality of this dream was no more, and you all ceased to exist. Yeah. And that concludes this adventure. Luckily, we weren't in their universe, and apparently Azathoth is still dreaming. So, with that ends, this is the end of our Dance of Madness. This ends your investigation, and we thank you for joining us here on Dungeon Brew. We hope that you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe, and see the other content that we have on this channel. Thank you.
Dungeon Brew.
You guys killed us all.
Yep.
That was exactly how my Call of Cthulhu game ended. You know, the Xbox game. I summoned Cthulhu and everyone died.